Hi again, everyone. How are you? Another great video for you now because this is going to be about a very common misconception. It's going to be about the difference between a revenue model and a business model, what a revenue model is, what a business model is, and then I'm going to get into how you can structure both to work well for your business. Okay, so so the word revenue model is not that often used, and the word business model is kind of commonly used, and it's commonly misused because what a revenue model is, it's sort of like your revenue stream, right? So a revenue stream can come from ads, come from sales, it can come from subscriptions. So those are revenue streams, those are revenue models. A business model is something that can have one or more revenue models in it and accounts for how you will promote your business, how you will, you know, a more complete picture of your finances than just the revenue. So it will take into account your costs, your product, right? So it's actually the model of the business. Okay, so a revenue model is the model of the revenue, and the business model is actually the model of your business. And why the business model is so important, if you know when used in the right term, the right way. The reason it's so important is because it's actually, I mean, that is your business, right? Because you can't just have a revenue model and sit on that, right? Um, you have to have the right product which you can market to high enough volume at a cost which makes sense, uh, according to what is the chunk of the revenue that you get to keep. Okay, if you can do all that, you got a little business model. You know, if you can do that, if that works, if you got a little balance there of all those things that are right, then oh my God, you got a business, right? Then you've got a business, right? So if you figure out the business model and it works, and you can take that theoretical business model and apply it in the real world, and it actually works, and the finances of it check out, the finances work in your favor, like it does make sense, you can press the gas on that and scale that business. Um, and that's why it's so important, to get your business model right. And it's kind of actually part of business planning a little bit because, I mean, you kind of see that there's a balance, right? None of those things, it's like a chair, you know, it will fall if it's missing a leg. None of those things can kind of, none of them are in a vacuum. A business model has all those things kind of playing well together. It's a harmony, right? Like if you have a product but you can't market it, you can't sell it, the business model is broken. If you have a product and you're able to sell it, but it costs way more money to actually acquire those customers than you get from the sale, right? Because let's say you sell it for like $100, sell something for $100, but you don't get to keep all that $100, right? You gotta pay taxes. You gotta pay this partner for, whatever. Like, if you're selling a widget, you gotta, pay for the shipping. You gotta pay for the store. You gotta pay for the box that it comes in, right? So there's a whole bunch of people that need to get paid. So by the time that it's done, you actually get to keep a reasonably small number of that sale, right? So, but you have to, but the cost of that sale has to be lower, than the cost to get that sale. The the cost to get the sale has to be lower than the revenue that you get, right? So you have to have money left over, and the cost is also your employee cost, your logistics cost, your office cost, all those costs, right? They have to be kind of divvied up. I mean, into per transaction sort of math, um, and that's kind of your unit economics, and I'll talk about that in a different video because that's its own topic. But here we just want to discuss like how you can structure your business model, right? So that you can have an eye for how you will promote whatever you're promoting, whatever you're selling, and reach enough people that they will buy um, all those things that you're selling, um, and the finances of it will make sense, right? All the cost to get into the point where you're making those sales have to get covered eventually. Um, and sometimes that, sometimes for some businesses, actually, they never make revenue. It's funny, but it's true. Like sometimes, right? Like technology businesses. Um, Sometimes their goal is, that's like their business model is, it that works for them is to grow so fast that they get sold. Um, they start sort of like messing the ecosystem up and changing and sometimes the word is used, disrupting the ecosystem of their business space so much that they get bought by another bigger company, and that's their business model. And the investors and the CEO of that company, they know full well that that's the goal, that's the business model, because if they get acquired, then it works. But most businesses which are local service businesses, like your local dentist, your restaurant, they have a far more balanced business model, right? They have like certain costs, they have certain marketing that they do, then they have certain, they have to provide the product at a reasonable quality, and all that has to work. And that's the business model that they have to figure out how to make all that balance, and that's their business model. But the revenue models can be plenty. There is some theory. Some people say you can have multiple revenue models, but one of them has to be by far the strongest, and that's the revenue model around which you can build your business model almost, right? Because you can have a lot of like mediocre revenue models, like revenue streams, but mediocre, it's very hard to build a business around a mediocre or poorly converting revenue model. It's very hard. Um, what you rather have is one very strong revenue model, which that thing converts really well. It's working, and then you will just press the gas on that, and shape a lot of the strategy of the business model around that revenue model, and that often is the business model that ends up working. If you can, provided you can provide a quality product, and provided that you can market that product. So that's been sort of the little bit of a primer of what's the difference between revenue models and business models, and what is a business model, and how to plan a business model. Um, so that's it. Won't babble too much. And if you like the video, as always, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting a lot more videos like this. Hopefully, it was insightful. And of course, I always appreciate it if you check out my apps at problemio.com, and they're basic business planning and starting apps covering business ideas, business planning, marketing, and fundraising. They actually come as a 4-app course available on iOS, Android, Kindle, Nook. So please check them out at problemio.com is where you'll get all the links to all those apps. So please subscribe, please check out the apps, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.